Welcome to MJ Hobby Corner. MJ here, and for today I'm going to do part 2 of the Aeronautica Imperialis model video. And part 1 dealt with all the orcs, and we have the orc fighter bombers, and we have the orc DACA fighters. And if you haven't seen part 1, you can go check it out. I'll have it linked to this video. Also, I would like to thank all of my Lords of Fantasy on Patreon for their support. Thank you very much. Their support means a lot to us, and to everyone here on the channel, and to everyone who has supported us on Wargames Vault with Scratch Builder Monthly. So thank you very much all, and now let us continue. And so now that I finished all of the Orc Squadron, we're going to do the Imperial Navy today. And you get two different kinds of aircraft. You get the Thunderbolt Fighter, and then we get the Marauder Bomber. Okay, so we're going to do that today. I'm going to start with the fighter. We'll show the models and anything of interest in the sprues. And here's the sprues. And then we'll do the Marauder Bomber after that, okay? So we got looks like 9 steps altogether in the Thunderbolt Fighter, as opposed to like 13 for the DACA fighters. So this shouldn't be too bad of a build, all right? So let's start, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I'm treating this like a video journal of sorts of the assembly of the models. So here is part 1. We have part 1 for one of the craft already done. And I have to say, part 1 involves this piece here for the engine, and this tiny, tiny little piece, which is the nozzle of the engine. And I tell you, tweezers are your friends in these kinds of models. That is absolutely tiny. However, I have to say that it does go in very well. So there's no like fussing with it. But let me just show you if I can find the piece again. Okay, so here are the parts on the sprue. You can see the number 4 is actually this part. Look how small those nozzles are, okay? And then the other one is opposite it, and I mean, look at that. Okay, so the engines are already in place on the wing mounts here, and there you can see the hole where the nozzle goes through. I already have glue on one of them. Let me see if I can put this in there. Okay. All right, and there it's going to stay. There it is. So there's the little engine cap, and like I said, it is tiny. Look at that. All right, so that's the nozzle. Okay, let me clarify a mistake. Okay, so I'm here in part 1. Now, notice how the rear end of these engine pieces, how they go. I was lucky enough, I had them backwards. And you have to see, let's look at this angle a little bit more. There you go. I had those backwards, so the angle, the shortest angle is towards the wings, and the widest angle is inside towards the fuselage. If you get those backwards, this part of the fuselage will not fit no matter what you do. So it's very important, because as I went to test my fuselage, it wasn't fitting, and it was because I had those pieces backwards, with the wide end to the outside and the short end on the inside, and that's not how they go. So you want the wide end on the inside and the shorter end towards the wings. And GW instructions are very concise. They show you that, in the drawings, and you can see how the parts, how that wide end, which way it's facing, you see. And I made that mistake. There it is. And so that was not allowing the fuselage to fit. Once you get it right, though, that fuselage pops right in there, not a problem, okay? So I just wanted to highlight that because this is a journal, and there you go. So, all right, moving on. Okay, and here's the fuselage siding. Oh, we just put it together. I'm going to do a little bit of filing. Just put it together, and then that goes right onto the fuselage itself. At first, I did them separate. That's probably not the best way to go. You want to put it all together, and then just put it all together, and then insert it, and it goes right into the slot there quite nicely. Okay, so yep, learning as we go, learning as we go. And there it is. That was a lot smoother than the first one I put together. So, all right, I'm going to finish that up. Okay, so I just encountered, as I'm doing the front piece of the jet, the first time where pieces have different numbers, 9 and 11, and that's because there is a variation in the way the pieces are shaped. Okay, and we're almost done here. Here is the fighter. So now putting the exhausts, the air intakes rather. We see the shape that the piece takes. See the shape here. And just kind of put it in place. And there we go. So we see the shape there, and just put it in place. So there's glue in there already. So there's the first of the air intakes. This guy's almost finished. I'm not going to do the weapon stores just yet. The weapon payload, we'll do that soon. I just got to put the rudder, and these craft are finished. So for the Thunderbolt Fury, which is, there are two versions, by the way. There is the Thunderbolt Fighter and the Thunderbolt Fury. For the Thunderbolt Fury, here is the weapon system for the front of the ship. And here are the two front pieces. So it's a large rotating cannon. Very much like the A-10, except it has two of them. All right, and so those would be positioned right here in front of the ship. That's this piece here. So you would not use these pieces and use the other ones instead for the Thunderbolt Fury. And here is the assembled ship. There we go. Okay, assembled Thunderbolts. And these are the fighter versions. There is a second version called the Fury. I went with the fighters, but obviously you can go with whichever of the two you want. All right, very cool. Thunderbolts. On to the bombers. Okay, and here is the Marauder Bomber with a couple of the Thunderbolt fighters. Excellent models, very detailed, and no real problem with the Marauder Bomber. Some of these turrets were tricky, but really it wasn't too bad, okay? You do have to pay attention to the rear pieces here, the rings that kind of secure the ball turrets. There is a front piece and a rear piece, and you get 3 turrets all together, 3 ball turrets. So all in all, very cool kit. All right, I'm just going to say a couple more things and we'll end this video. This ends Aeronautica Imperialis, the assembly part. Just a couple more words. All right, folks, well, that's all I have for this video. This completes the assembly process for Aeronautica Imperialis. I just got to do one more of the bombers, the Imperial bombers, and we're done. This kit, as always, GW instructions are very concise. They have very good drawings. So for anyone looking to get this game or try this game out, I will have to say there are some very small parts. I would consider this an advanced modeling, only because there are so many small parts and you really have to take your time, kind of futz around with things a little bit before gluing, make sure you know how they fit, look at the drawings, study them a little bit before actually gluing things, and that will avoid a lot of headaches later. As you saw in this video, the mistake that I made with the engines in the very beginning threw off the entire model. So you do have to be careful with those little details. Everything fits in quite well. Other than that, I didn't really have too much of a problem, and I found the orc jets in this set to be a lot trickier. They had much smaller parts in many cases, and yeah, definitely a little bit trickier. But the models are excellent. I mean, these are highly detailed models, and I can't wait to paint them and get them on the tabletop with Julie. We would like to try this game out. And just keep a lookout for weapons variations or slight variations in the models. As you guys know, those of you that are familiar with 40K, you know that weapons do matter in the game. And same thing with this kit. The aircraft have a couple of different versions for the fighters. This is the Imperial Navy Thunderbolt, and you get the Fury version and you get the fighter version. So just be on the lookout for those slight variations, and all it is the weapon systems that these two aircraft carry. So just be on the lookout for that, and that will, you just put together whatever sounds good to you, whatever, however you your style of play. You know, if you want a more heavy duty, that you like that rotating, those double rotating cannons, which give it a very A10 feel to the Thunderbolt, then definitely go with the Fury, and you'll see in the instructions the variations for these two aircrafts. So other than that, that's all I really have to say. You will need some filing material to make sure that you file things so that parts fit right. And that's about it, really. All right, folks, thank you very much. Thank you to all my patrons, my Lords of Fantasy on Patreon. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for your support. It really helps the studio a lot. And thank you to all of my YouTube channel subscribers for all your kind comments and encouragement. And of course, for all of you that support us on Wargames Vault with Scratch Builder Monthly, it really helps a lot as well. So thank you to all of you, and I'll see you in the next video. More games, more Scratch builds, and more modeling videos in the future. Have a great one, guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. And now, back to work. And Julie recently informed me that she may play the orcs in this game. So she'll be part of the aerial warg. That leaves me with the Imperial Navy. For the Emperor! It's going to be an interesting game.